Hi, I'm Libby Cornish from Decadent Alternatives. Welcome to the 9th video in my online gluten-free baking classes. Okay, this one is going to be, the 8th one was flaky pastry. This one is just a little bit more complicated in that it is yeasted flaky pastry or yeasted puff pastry. And this has implications if you like to make croissants or danishes, although the doughs are slightly different. Because I have just done the flaky pastry and mixed the dough, essentially the dough is exactly the same apart from the addition of yeast. So the ingredients are flour with a bit of salt and sugar. There is a little bit more sugar than in the normal puff pastry. We have yeast with sugar to activate. Now I would normally activate that first in 100 mils of water, of warm water, for about 5 minutes before adding to the dough. Melted butter and water. I have mixed some previously and I have let it prove at room temperature for 30 minutes and then I put it into the fridge. And this is what it looks like. Basically, you've got the dough that used to be really quite runny is now like a big marshmallow. So basically, after it's proved, I normally put it into the freezer for about half an hour, and this is one of the ones that I have done that for. Then I popped it into the fridge to stay at 4 degrees. So what we're going to do is laminate this one. Because it has yeast in it, we need to work quickly. It's already proved, and the reason why I prove it beforehand is to actually develop a strong flavour, because you don't want to basically the yeast gives just a delicious flavour in terms of the pastry. If we prove beforehand, we can develop that flavour. We can control the amount of the yeast dough. It means that flavour is there then. And then when what we want to be able to do is quickly laminate the dough and then bake it. So working quickly, make sure the dough is, because it will be still slightly sticky. Roll it out. I'm going to do the 6 single turns before I put the butter in. And this way expels all air that may be in the dough from the yeast. So this will be the second turn prior to putting butter in. Once again, we want to be able to make it the similar size to an A4 piece of paper. That was the third without the butter. That's 4. Sometimes it is difficult, or it is hard to remember how many you've done. That's 5, and that's starting to stick. So I'll get more flour. That's 5. And this will be the 6th turn. So now we are going to put our butter block in. Essentially want it slightly rectangular, can be a little bit longer. Get our butter. This is roughly 330 grams of butter, and like in the previous video, I belted it down with my rolling pin. Trying to get it smooth. Check the size, because you want to make sure, and if it's not the right size, just tuck it in a little bit. You want to make sure that you can cover it with the dough. So that's about right. These can be used again. That's a little bit too big there. I'll make that come out, make that come out. Put this dough over, roll this up. Make sure that you encase it in dough. And that dough is still cool to touch. Flour, I usually pat down to make it easier to start, and then one. That's one. Two, getting a pinch that in. If you see butter appearing, pinch it in. Three, it's going to get a little sticky, so I'm going to put a little bit more flour. This will be 4. You can see it's coming to the surface now, so just prevent it from sticking to your mat. Put a little bit more pastry on. I'm up to 5. Am I up to 5? And you can see can you see the butter starting to smear through? Is that 5? That is 5. And so this next one will be the last one. And now the dough is ready to use. I'm only going to use a portion of this, and I will freeze the rest away. If you are going to use only a small portion, you really need to get the rest of it back into the fridge as soon as possible, because the yeast will continue to grow. So I'll use about that much. If you look, you can see the layers in the pastry. This one, I'll put that one away, and I'm really actually going to put it into the fridge now. And basically, if it's starting to stick to your rolling pin, put a little bit of flour on. Roll it out. If you want to be sure that your pastry is, say, 4 mil, or I'm going to use my 3 and 1 mil. Actually, it's not coming apart. There. Spacer on either side. And that will give me a fairly good idea odd shape, but doesn't matter. Now, if I'm going to, this one I will put on my baking tray first, and it's hard to, so if we're going to roll it over, you're basically looking at about here. I can't put my in the tray, I can't put these on because they're too far. So basically it's going to be something like here and here, maybe. And if we cut down, might be a little bit more in there. See what happens down this end. Get rid of that. And this one. And try to do the same number of slices on either side, on both sides. Now in this one, I'm also going to do a little bit of an egg brush with the side pieces with egg wash. This helps the pastry stick together. For this filling, I have a little mixture of flour, walnuts, and maple syrup. So I'm just going to put that on. Up to the top. Fold this in, fold that in, then over. The side that is, let the side that is longer be the one that goes further over, or the covering the smaller one. Then I'm going to put the egg wash on top for a little bit of extra colour, because it will help the pastry develop a deeper colour. And then I can show you one that I have previously made. That is one with a raspberry, white chocolate and almond filling. Put that one to the side. And this is one that I made before with the yeasted puff pastry that I've made. Now, if you look at this one, this is the yeasted puff. You can see some of the layers in it. And this is the one I made with just the plain puff pastry. The difference in colour is due to the increased sugar in the yeasted puff, and it also gives it a little bit more height. Thank you for watching.